top Israeli missile shield that defeated Iran's best is headed to Europe, where the Russian threat grows. The Israel Missile Defense Organization and the U.S. Missile Defense Agency test the Arrow 3 interceptor missile in Alaska in 2019. Israel is expected to soon deploy its top missile defense system, Arrow 3, to Germany. Arrow's chief engineer told BI that the system had already proved its worth in combat. The transfer, planned for next year, comes amid growing concerns in Europe over Russian missiles. Germany is expected to receive a top Israeli missile defense system that helped protect the Middle Eastern country from two massive Iranian attacks earlier this year. Israel is set to deploy the Arrow 3, a highly advanced system designed to intercept ballistic missiles outside the Earth's atmosphere, on German soil in 2025 as part of a $3.5 billion deal announced last fall in what officials said was the country's largest ever defense export. The transfer comes as Europe and NATO allies like Germany face a rising Russian missile threat to its eastern flank. Just last week, Moscow used a new intermediate-range ballistic missile to strike Ukraine. Arrow 3 made its combat debut just a year ago in the early days of Israel's ongoing war with Hamas. But the system's chief engineer told Business Insider that it had proved its worth against two massive Iranian missile barrages in April and October of this year. Arrow 3 is the right answer for Germany, and, also, it'll be a part of an even greater system to German allies in Europe, Boaz Levy, the CEO of the state-run Israel Aerospace Industries, said in a recent interview. The Israel Missile Defense Organization (IMDO) of the Directorate of Defense Research and Development (DDR&D) and the U.S. Missile Defense Agency (MDA) completed a successful flight test campaign with the Arrow 3 interceptor missile. An Arrow 3 interceptor being tested. U.S. Missile Defense Agency. The Arrow systems are a product of IAI and the U.S. manufacturer Boeing. They were developed because Israel needed a way to defend itself from longer-range ballistic missiles. Together, they make up the upper echelon of the country's air defense network. Arrow 2, which was first deployed in 2000, can intercept targets in the upper atmosphere. It was followed in 2017 by Arrow 3, which can eliminate targets in space and up to 1,500 miles away, well beyond the ranges of the U.S.'s Patriot and Terminal High-Altitude Area Defense Systems. Both systems use a two-stage solid-fueled interceptor to engage incoming ballistic missiles. Israel confirmed the first operational use of Arrow 3 in November of last year after it was used to take down a missile fired by Houthi rebels in Yemen. But the system saw its most serious tests against two massive Iranian attacks this year. In mid-April, Iran fired more than 300 missiles and drones, including some 120 ballistic missiles, at Israel, which, along with partner forces like the US and the UK, shot down nearly all the munitions. 6 months later, in early October, Iran fired a much larger salvo of ballistic missiles, about 200, at Israel. Most of the projectiles were intercepted, including by American warships. Earlier this month, the Israeli Defense Ministry said Arrow proved effective in both Iranian attacks. Levy declined to provide specific figures on its performance. But he said the system performed as intended, adding that, the results that we received over those attacks are really phenomenal. We believe that the system proved its capability during these two attacks, he said. Arrow's demonstrated capability in the Middle East conflicts will make it a valuable asset to Germany as Europe grows increasingly concerned with the Russian missile threat. Moscow's war against UK.